This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. How's it going? Looks like it's only Blue over there. Blue! Oh, that's because she's probably eating. See, Chloe gets to eat sometimes a little extra to get her bigger. And then Blue looks over there until there's a time for him to come over and gobble down. Alright, is Chloe eating over there? Where is she? Well, she's waiting for something. I see. Hey, thank you, Holly Evans. Appreciate it. Yep. All right. So I'm going to move over to. I actually have I did a little short video of Blue and Chloe, I think it was yesterday. I know you guys like watching those. So let me switch screens here. Go get it, Chloe. Go get it. Ah. Get it. Look how crazy they are. Here, I'll start it again. Look at these guys. Watch. Go get it, Chloe. Go get it. Ah. Get it. She's like, where? Look how cute that is right there. Get it, Chloe. Get it, Chloe. Get it, Chloe. Get it, Chloe. Get it. Twirl, 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 twirl. Get it. Get it. Just want to eat, huh, Blue? All right. Oh, guys. She always does this twirl thing. Look at it. Get it. Up. Get it. Right there. Get there. Up. Blue, right there. Look at her watch. She's just like... Get it. Get it. She like teases him every time too. Chloe's just so... I don't know, it makes me laugh every time. Get it. Poor Blue. See, that's just like Mary Lou, right? Oh, there you go. Yeah, anyways, pretty crazy. Oops, not that one. Hey, thanks, Holly Evans. Yeah. Yeah, Chloe reminds me of Mary Lou. Just sort of like just a menace. But she's pretty cute. You gotta give her that. Blue's like, what about me? You too, Blue. You're always the number one, okay? Look at him. What about me? On the taco stamping on Blue's head.
OMG, how precious.
Poor Blue. Look at that. I mean, he's just... You guys all made Blue feel bad. He's like... You know what he is? He's like John Boy, who people like, but now nobody cares about because they all like Mary Lou so much. Ah, poor guy. Oh, yeah. Yep. Thanks, Kimberly. By the way, is anybody watching the Kyle Rittenhouse trial? Any parts of it? I've been watching it a little bit here and there. I mean, today was like, it was almost as if the
Puppies are the best and adoptable.
The prosecution called up all the witnesses for the defense. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, he is, if he gets found guilty of anything at this point, I'll be absolutely shocked. Yeah, I haven't really followed much of it at all, but just some of the, I just had it on, and it was just unbelievable. I mean, the star witness for the prosecution, the guy that got his bicep blown off, he admitted that he ran up to Kyle and put his hands up in the air.
Just so happy as are we all. Frick Daddy, a grey baby got through his ordeal. We all love you.
Oh, thanks, Dreaming Girl. Yep. Yeah, just a procedure, but you know. Yeah, so he said that he ran up to Kyle on the ground and had to put his hands up in the air, and then Kyle didn't shoot him. And then he pulls a gun out from behind him and aims it right at Kyle, and then he gets shot in the arm. So he had to admit that. It's like, well, that's self-defense right there. I don't know what I mean, there must be multiple charges because he has 2 killings and 1, shot to the bicep. He killed 2 other people. But the first person he killed, that person had threatened to kill all of them prior to that. So it's like, it was just pretty amazing, really. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I've always thought it seemed like it looked like a self-defense deal. People are chasing him down. He had fear, and he was there to help defend the. There was like a car shop. I forgot what it was called. And he was doing good out there too. Helping people. He was a medic, helping people out there. I don't know. It's just pretty weird. I'm kind of trying to figure out why this went to trial. It was really unbelievable. I mean, it's hilarious how every witness actually helped Kyle out. Very strange, very strange. All right, that's not what we were going to be talking about, but it just popped into my head. All right. Oh, that's right. I don't have that light on over there. That's okay. Yeah, I don't think he's a medic, but he was like a medic. He was helping people. No, I'm not wrong, Mimi. Sorry. Sorry, Mimi. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't say he was a medic. He was over there helping people. Yeah. You always get wackos that didn't pay attention, like Mimi, who come in. Oh, you're wrong, Gray. You're wrong, Gray. No, I was actually watched it, and I've watched it on the news, and it's also been portrayed the same way that I noticed. It was a slam dunk. Ridiculous. Yeah, just a second ago, I was just saying that he was like a medic. He was helping people out. He had stuff, with him to help people. Help putting out, He wasn't there to go shoot people, you know. God. Right. But you always get the couple trolls that'll show up, and you know, they have to, oh, you're hungry, you're hungry. Yeah, well, what did you hear then? When the kid actually said that he had his hands up and Rittenhouse did not shoot him. Then he pulls a gun out and aims it at him, and then he gets shot. And, you know, that is absolute self-defense. You see the picture where the gun is aimed right at him at the same moment that his biceps being blown to bits. Now, there isn't two sides to what I just said there, Mimi. There isn't two sides to the incident with the bicep being shot. All right? And I don't care if you saw me over there. The people in those chats are just really stupid people. Okay? They're the same people who think that Justin Ross Harris was guilty and he maliciously killed his kid. You know, I remember the days going over there watching that and just the sanctimonious bullcrap that goes on by the people over there. It's unreal. Yeah, there isn't two sides to the one I just said. Okay, there are not two sides to Kyle's on the ground. This guy runs up to him, puts his hands up to pretend, oh yeah, that's okay. And then he grabs a gun from behind him, pulls it, aims it at Kyle, and then Kyle shoots his arm. Unfortunately, now the other two people, I don't know what the circumstances are for the ones that he killed. Okay, I know that the original one guy, he was threatening them, and I don't know what happened right there. But I'm telling you that the instance, what I just referred to, is 100% true. There's no other aspects of it that need any discussion. Okay, it's literally exactly what happened. They're wrestling over there. look at Blue and Chloe. Oh yeah. Hey, try to turn it up. You just have to grab it and go. Psst. There it is. Look at him. Yeah. I should have a Blue and Chloe channel. Look at him. What are you doing, Blue? Yeah, Chloe just bites his arm, bites his ear, and Blue just goes, do I have to keep putting up with this? He doesn't seem to mind it, like he plays. Hey, what about me? Oh boy. You see how he just bugs the crap out of it. Oh, that was me. Yes, Chloe, that was me. Look at that. I think he doesn't mind it that much, but it does kind of bug him after. Oh, there we go. Oh, see, he tries to go and then she runs right with it. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Yep. So we've got some. And if you don't believe what I was just telling you, go watch the testimony today, and you'll see exactly what I was just talking about. He said, no, I didn't. He didn't shoot me after I aimed it at him. Then they showed him the video, and he goes, oh, yeah, well, I guess I did. It was ridiculous. I mean, he didn't use those exact wording, okay? It wasn't a quote, but that's his. First he claimed that no, and then he saw it and went, oh. Yeah, that's him shooting me right there where my biceps evaporating. Or vaporizing, he said. And then it's like, well, yeah, because you were aiming the gun right at him, and then he pulled the trigger. All right, so let's start off with... now, you guys remember Morgan Nick. Remember, that was the case with the red pickup truck. Well, we covered that one back in 2020. And let's see. You know, and we've talked about it subsequently to then. about other cases that might have had a red pickup truck and so forth. And you know, they actually came up with this suspect today, and it's like, well, how come he wasn't a suspect way back then? It's mind-boggling how idiotic that would have had to be to not have made a correlation back then to look him up, you know. So yeah, let's. Yeah, so there's like a...
Well, right now the FBI is trying to find out everything they can about Billy Jack Links, who died in prison 21 years ago. According to court records, Link was convicted here inside the Crawford County Courthouse for sexual indecency with a child. That was connected, according to those court records, to an attempted child abduction not long after Morgan Nick disappeared.
Yeah.
And since then, Nick's mom, Colleen, has never given up the search for her daughter.
And our investigators are not going to stop until we do get closure and solve this case.
For the first time publicly, the FBI is calling Billy Jack Links a person of interest in Morgan Nick's abduction. Police say the 6-year-old little girl was taken from an Alma ball field in June 1995. The FBI says just a few months after Nick disappeared, Links was arrested in Van Buren, accused of trying to abduct an 11-year-old girl who was walking with her brothers. Links was convicted in 1996 of sexual indecency with a child. 4 years later, he died in prison.
Mr. Links has been known to law enforcement in the past.
Right.
He's been questioned by law enforcement in the past. In fact, a law enforcement agency gave him a polygraph. The FBI never gave him a polygraph.
Okay, so you guys interviewed him. Okay, that makes sense.
The FBI really is looking to take this and put what information we can get from the public in with whatever evidence and information we already have, and try to really kind of...
Yeah, Morgan Nick is the one that had the... Let's see. I'm not sure if... Let me see if I have it still sitting in this folder. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's the one that had this vehicle. You remember that? That was spotted. Just a second. Remember that red pickup truck? We just talked about this a few months ago, perhaps being related to, I think, a Colorado case that also had a red pickup truck. But there you go. It's a pickup truck with a white camper on the back. That's that case. This is the one we talked about a long time ago. If we're just gonna look at pink ribbons and wanted posters are covering businesses and houses in the hometown of 6-year-old girl kidnapped from a ball field in Alma last week. The longtime mayor of Ozark says he's never seen the small river community so united. Morgan Nick was abducted Friday night at a ball field in Alma, about 30 miles west of Ozark. Authorities believe her abductor tried unsuccessfully to kidnap 2 other children in the area. Police have released a composite sketch of the suspect and a description of the vehicle. Witnesses said drove away from the ball field around the time Morgan was discovered missing. Yeah. So anyways, that's the case that we talked about a long time ago. It was actually... it's weird because we've talked about it twice, but I don't know how it was that long ago, but it was, maybe a year ago. It's hard to tell exactly. Maybe it was... I'm looking at my files here. I can't really tell. All right.
kind of progress this case along.
You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm just going to go straight to... There's a story here that's a little bit better that explains it.
Good afternoon, I'm Mallory Brooks. Thanks for joining us for Arkansas Today as we begin with a big development in the 1995 disappearance of Morgan Nick. Federal investigators are asking for the public's help in gathering information on a person believed to be connected to the case. Arkansas Today's Alexis Wainwright joins us live from the FBI headquarters in Little Rock with more. Alexis, what do we know right now?
Well, Mallory, this has been something everyone has been following for the past 26 years, and now Little Rock FBI says they are one step closer to solving this case. Now, Mallory, as you mentioned, investigators are looking for information for a person who may be related to this case, Bill Jack Links. Now, Links was born and raised in Crawford County. You may remember back when 6-year-old Morgan Nick was taken from a parking lot area near a baseball field during a Little League game in 1995. The FBI says 2 months after Nick's disappearance, Links tried to abduct a young girl in Van Buren, Arkansas. They say the incident happened near the baseball field where Nick was. Now, Links died in 2000 while he was in prison, but the FBI is speaking out and asking anyone who may know information about him, whether you went to school with him, worked with him, or did any extra activities, to contact them directly. Again, that information could help solve this case. If you have any information, you're asked to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Of course, we'll have much more on this story coming up tonight in our newscast, but for now, reporting live in Little Rock, Alexis Wainwright, KRK 4 News.
Alexa.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I do have it on Google Earth here. Just a second. Yeah, right there. See, look at this crazy deal here. So, hold on. Yeah, there we go. See, here's Alma, right? And this is where Link lived. I looked him up. Right there, and then he actually, there's another place over here, but I think during that time he lived right here. And look how close that is. And apparently the girl that was 2 months later was near a ballpark in Alma too. The same, well, I mean, this is already near, so I don't even know. Like in miles, it's 7 miles away, or 8 miles. So I don't know. I think this guy probably did that, and there's probably multiple other victims in other areas that we don't know about. He did die in 2000, but they're trying to link it together. They're probably trying to figure out where he may have put Morgan. I'd actually, what I would do is go get a warrant and try to check some of these yards here at these homes. You know, he seems like somebody that would have abducted and then, you know, maybe brought the person. I don't know if he would have brought her back to the house. Maybe, you know, look at this house here. This is where he lived during that time. And there's no street view there, but look at, that's pretty isolated, right? I mean, if you drove there after abducting her and just kind of go down this isolated road, maybe drive your car back around, you know, who knows? But man, maybe check under, you know, when was this built, right? This little patio there. Yeah, you could probably, you know, that would make more sense, you know. But anywhere right around where his house is, you know, most likely, obviously, you wouldn't put it right in his yard, but people do that a lot, so you don't really know. Don't worry about it, Evan. I'm okay with what I got. Thanks. Hey, all right, thanks, Holly Evans. Everyone's an expert on everybody. Yeah. Oh, I've got another suspect here. Now, this is the killer. They're, you know, I guarantee it.
Chewbacca?
Let's see.
I grew up in Fort Worth.
Yeah,
so
could be
sad.
near there. Yeah. All right, let's see. Okay, now we're going to go over to another case that we've covered. See what's cool about that? Is all of the different cases that we've covered over the years randomly, you get to see, like, some of them come to fruition, right? So we actually went over the Walker County Jane Doe in 2019 is what I meant to say. August 2019. And yeah, I mean, it's weird because now she has a name. And that's because we have a huge diversity of cases that we cover. And you can see a lot of other people, they just keep doing the same thing over and over. The really big ones. And let's see. And you remember there was people that were thinking this girl was her maybe? Remember that? But that wasn't her. That was an unknown, like people didn't know who this person's name was. And then the drawings that people had were right here. Remember that? I mean, this has been around for a long time. Like this one right here is a very recognizable. Like most people in the true crime world have seen that one. I was looking through some of these older pictures here. Yeah, and then this is something that somebody came up with using, I think, that and then what she was wearing, you know. So people were, you know, trying to come up with stuff that would help over the years. I think that drawing is actually a little bit better than the previous. Like, see how the hair on that last one gets parted in the middle? That one was pretty close. And the Walker County, I guess that one doesn't open anymore. They must have realized after it was solved that they didn't need it up there anymore. Yeah, so this is way back in 1980, November 1st, 1980. On November 1st, 1980, the nude body of a girl estimated to be between the ages of 14 and 18 was discovered by a truck driver who had been driving past the Sam Houston National Forest. That didn't seem to make sense when I was looking at it. She was lying face down in an area of grass approximately 20 feet from the shoulder of Interstate Highway 45 and just 2 miles north of Huntsville. The motorist called police at 9:20 a.m. to report his discovery. The decedent had been deceased for approximately 6 hours, thus placing the time of death at around 3:20 a.m. A rectangular brown pendant containing a smoky blue or brown glass-colored stone on a thin-colored chain necklace was found around her neck. She was approximately 5 foot 6 inches in height, weighed 105 to 120, and was described by the medical examiner as being a well-nourished individual. Her eyes were hazel, and her hair was approximately 10 inches in length. So, you know, this is she was murdered. All right, so this is one of those cases where, you know, I don't think in this case it'll help, because I think she's a victim of a serial killer-like person. You know, she probably was at a truck stop or something like that, and I think she was killed by one of the, serial killer type person. I don't know if they're, that's one of those things you say, but people who murder people after picking them up likely did that other times. And so that's what my opinion is. And I'm going to play the press conference now. All right. And so let's go over to this. And the link's in the description again.
Good morning to everyone. On October the 31st of 1980, a white female believed to be between the ages of 15 and 20 arrived in Huntsville, Texas. She was alone, but seen by several civilians that also talked to her while she was here. One of the locations of which she was seen or observed was a truck stop just located just north of here and a restaurant. At this location, she talked to a couple of employees and asked for directions to the Ellis Prison Farm, and was provided with written directions. During this conversation, she told the individuals that she had spoke with that she was actually from the Rockport Aransas Pass.
I remember all that. Remember, she was heading to a prison, almost like we thought maybe she was going to go visit somebody.
Pass area. On Saturday, November the 1st, 1980, at approximately 9:20 a.m., Walker County Sheriff's Office deputy responded to a call of a body located on the shoulder of Interstate I-45, just north of Huntsville, about a half of a mile south of the 1696 exit. The body had been reported by a citizen to have been located. The cause of death was later determined to be due to asphyxia, due to strangulation by ligature, per the Harris County Medical Examiner's Office. The initial portion of the investigation was focused around identifying the victim and determining any possible relationship she may have had with the Texas Department of Corrections. Employees and the inmates at this unit were interviewed with negative results. No additional information to proceed with the investigation at that point. A search of missing persons report revealed that there was no leads or media reports on the case, and no additional information as well, resulted in no positive information concerning the victim's identity. Investigators also traveled to the Rockport Aransas Pass area and interviewed law enforcement and school officials with negative results again. With this being the 41st anniversary of this horrible crime taking place, I would at this point in time like to reveal the fact that our victim has been identified.
Yeah.
Sherri Ann Jarvis, date of birth 3/9 of 1966. And she was from Stillwater, Minnesota.
As well as there'll be pictures down there as well.
In July of 2020, Detective Bean, along with other detectives, Texas Ranger Doolittle, the Orthram Labs, and Orthram Labs were authorized to begin forensic DNA testing in an attempt to form a DNA profile.
See, here's the picture of her right there. And that's why that other sketch was pretty good. The one, not a sketch, but a composite. You know, this person actually thought this one was really close. Look at this. That one, or this person actually got the hair right. It's pretty crazy, right? There, let me. What happened to the? Hold on. Yeah, so that one wasn't too bad. They actually parted it in the middle and had it come down and even feathered it back with, you know, that was pretty close. You know, the face doesn't look quite right, but, and this is a case where they actually had there's images of her after she wasn't alive, you know, like this one. Like right there, you know, kind of a little bit like so there's that one, and remember, you got your trigger warning at the beginning of the show, okay? So, like, these are the pictures of her, see? And so, you know, it's interesting that somebody was able to determine that her hair was parted by that, you know. And at least those were put out, apparently, supposedly associated with those. Yeah, it wasn't as good as like the Bibb County one where it looked peaceful, right? But I always think it's important to see, you know, so at least you realize that, man, you know, I mean, she was strangled, and it's not good.
From tissue samples that were taken from the original autopsy, Ortham Labs was able to obtain...
And this lab is, you know, obviously they're a competitor, but I'm for everybody out there that's doing and solving these cases. There's so many Jane and John Does and criminals out there that there's enough work for everybody to go around. But it's weird how competitive it gets, you know. But this is a case that we've covered for over 2 years, and not on and off, but I think we covered it 2 years ago. And, you know, finally there's a name associated.
In a DNA profile, and the samples were used to start building a family tree. In March of 2021, Ortham Labs provided Detective Bean with what they believed to be 6 people that were either direct relatives of Jane Doe or they were possibly aunts or uncles. Detective Bean, with the assistance of Detective Phelps, were able to utilize internet resources to finish building out. In March of 2021, Ortham Labs...
So it took that long after getting aunts and uncles? Man.
Provided Detective Bean with what they believed to be 6 people that were either direct relatives of Jane Doe.
Oh, they probably identified her way before, but wanted to do some investigation first.
Or they were possibly aunts or uncles. Detective Bean, with the assistance of Detective Phelps, were able to utilize internet resources to finish building out the family tree. While doing so, detectives were able to locate information on all but one of the family members, that individual, and it was discovered that she had actually run away in 1980 and was 14 years of age. DNA samples were obtained from biological family members and turned over to Ortham Labs to be compared to the DNA sample from Jane Doe with a match, finding a match. All of the evidence was then compiled and released to the Harris County Institute of Forensic Science, where they confirmed the fact that we had an identity on Jane Doe as being Sherri Jarvis. I never like to refer to this case as being a cold case. It has always been a top priority of our department. We loved her as well. I would like to thank the Sheriff's Office, the Criminal Investigative Division, as well as the lead detective at this time being Tom Bean, for his drive and determination to not give up, as well as the partnerships that we have had.
You know, I'm not 100% certain. Those images that I showed you a minute ago that were when she wasn't alive, they were associated with the case a long time ago. I just can't tell you 100% if those are her, you know, right now, because their name isn't on there, and I don't remember where they came from from 2 years ago. So, you know, if they're not her, then that means they're somebody else. But either way, she's been identified.
Assistance from being the Texas Rangers, Federal Bureau of Investigations, Harris County Institute of Forensic Science, Ortham Tech Labs, and the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, and the past Sheriff's Office investigators that have spent many hours, many days, many months on never quitting and keeping this case alive.
At this time, we'd like to hear from the Ortham Lab. Mike, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, listen, the reason I'm questioning it is, like, when you look at this picture here, okay, hold on. You know, you see your eyebrows right there, right? And then if you were opening up the, hold on. Like here, I don't know, her eyebrows just don't look they look really thin out there and thicker there. And then they actually almost look like they're thicker on that picture out on the edges over there. You get what I'm saying? It just looks a little different. I mean, definitely could be her. You know, they were associated with her at the time. But, anyways. So, anyways, this is one of the, these are guys who are competitors of Identifinders.
Unfortunately, just like this one, of folks that are unidentified, they're not going to be found in a traditional government database. This is a victim, so not someone.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the investigative stuff.
This office, the Texas DPS, Harris County office, DA's office, as well as their forensics.
Well, she could have done anything. I'm just saying I don't know.
This is an extraordinary case, as the sheriff said. We're putting resources together and using technology.
Her mouth is closed in the other one. How can you tell by that? That's ridiculous.
This is going outside the norm of traditional law enforcement techniques. But here at the FBI, across the country, we're using this technique to try to help state and local officials solve some of the older cases that they have. Not just for the sheriff's office, but to bring closure to a family, to find the victim and to find the offenders who prey on our innocents, just like in Sherri's case.
Don't worry about it, Bat Cactus. Just go do your own thing, okay? You're crazy, all right?
As Arthur mentioned, to bring some resolution to the family.
I'm not saying it's not her, but you're trying to sell it sucks. It doesn't work. Okay?
We're committed to this in Houston. FBI has been named as a hub for the investigative genealogy technique that we used on this case.
Look at her lower lip. Wow. What a ridiculous comment.
Thanks. Ranger Doolittle, would you like to say a word?
I would just think the sheriff's department.
This is what Cactus wants me to do, everybody. Watch this. Let me just show you.
Everybody working.
See the lower lip right here? How it's right there and it's thin because it's pressed up against her teeth. He wants me to take that picture and compare it to the lower lip there and go, see, it's exactly the same. What the hell are you talking about? You can't do that with those pictures.
Huntsville. I remember when this happened. I'm just real pleased with all the work that's been done and the investigation and the technology that's advanced to the point where we're able to identify this young girl. And from a prosecutor's perspective, I just hope that this information will lead us to whoever did this, and if they are alive, they'll be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Thank you.
At this time, we'd like
yeah, the chin
Deputy
looks
Wells
pretty good, but the lips, you can't tell anything
family.
on that. Don't pretend
at the
that you
conclusion
can,
of this,
okay?
we'll go into and answer questions.
Good morning. Deputy Wells, and last name is spelled W-E-L-L-S. I will be sharing with you guys the official release from the family of Sherri Jarvis. We would like to extend our sincere appreciation to Detective Thomas Bean and all the cooperating agencies and people involved in
Everyone's an
identifying
expert,
Sherri
you know?
Ann Jarvis remains.
It's wild.
We would also like to express our gratitude to Morris Memorials for donating Sherri's headstone and all the people who visited her burial site throughout the years. We lost Sherri more than 41 years ago, and we've lived with the bewilderment every day since. Until now, as she has finally been
Yes,
found.
Teresa Ann, just be kind, please.
We contacted the Salvation Army and hired a private investigator in an attempt to locate her, but to no avail. The dedication of the aforementioned people led to our reunion with Sherri.
You can't see her earlobes in either picture.
Painful answers to our questions.
Maybe that's what the joke
and on her whereabouts. Sherri Ann Jarvis was a daughter, a sister, a cousin, and a granddaughter.
Yeah, I know how it all works, Cheek.
She
You don't
loved
need to
children,
help me out at all. I get it.
And horseback riding. She was a tender 13 years of age when the state removed her from our home for habitual truancy. Sherri never returned to our home as promised in a letter we received from her shortly after her departure. She was deprived of so many life experiences as a result of this tragedy. She was denied the opportunity to experience romance and love and marital bliss, the heartache and the pain of loss, the pure joy of having children or growing old, and being able to reflect on some milestones afforded on a bounding lifetime.
Yeah, who knows why she
Our
ran
parents
away.
passed away never knowing what happened to her or having any form of closure, but we are grateful that they never had to endure the pain of knowing her death was so brutal. We take a measure of comfort in knowing that she has been identified and where she is located, so we can pay our respect at her final resting place. We will continue to support those seeking her killers, because she did not deserve the death she received, and justice served to those who would commit such heinous act would be fitting tribute to Sherri. We love and miss you, Sherri, very much. You are with Mom and Dad now, Sherri. May you rest in peace.
Detective Beam, would you like to say something?
I just want to say thank you to everybody involved, the FBI, Othram Labs, the sheriff for allowing me to investigate this case, the Texas Rangers. This wouldn't have been available. We wouldn't have been able to do this without everybody that's standing up here.
Be interesting to know why she was heading now to that.
Everybody that's here has
that
been
prison.
Great. The family's been great. I'm happy that this is finally coming to a conclusion on this portion, and now we're going to get into finding out who did this to Sherri, and that's going to be one of the things that I'm looking forward to in finishing out my career here.
Again, as we've stated, we could not have put this together without the members of this team.
I mean, the composite was based on the
You can't get
actual
anywhere
sketch.
without it.
I mean, her actual image.
I'm so appreciative. I'm very appreciative of y'all being here today as well, and help us get this information out, so that people do realize the fact that we are, when a case gets older, it's not just going away. It's forever, and we're going to continue to work on it as long as we can. Fortunately, we now have the victim identified. So appreciative of that. We still have a lot of work to do. And we will continue to do so. Thank you all.
Any questions? Yes, sir. Right here.
If you could spell Sherri Ann and then confirm it was Stillwater, Minnesota, you said?
Stillwater, Minnesota.
Her name is spelled SHERRIANNJARVIS.
Perfect. Thank you.
Question in the back?
Yeah, you said you currently are now trying to find the suspect who did this to her. Do we have any leads on that as of right now?
We are working on everything. This is still an ongoing investigation, and we will follow through with everything that we can in order to identify the person who's responsible for this.
Did you ever find a tie to the Ellis unit? You said she was looking for the Ellis unit.
At this time, we have found no ties. Back in the day, they interviewed every employee. They interviewed every inmate that was there. Actually, Crime Stoppers have put up a reward.
Yeah, you know, Texas Rangers are pretty good. When you say they rock, you know, maybe I used to think that, but, you know, after they used that's the guy's name I can never remember. But they used him over and over and over again as a clearinghouse for murders all around the country that now haven't been solved because he didn't really kill all those people. Henry Lee Lucas. There you go. I remembered on my own for once. Yeah, so, you know, I mean, they're really good and everything, but that was a big blight on their perception, as far as I'm concerned.
There has never been anything that's come forward with that.
Family didn't know of anyone that could have been out there or anything like that?
No, sir. Clay?
Could you mind reminding us again, in relation to where we are now, how far outside of town she was found on I-45, or just the general area where she was, where her remains were found?
Just north of the 118, about a mile and a half, is about a mile south of the FM 1696 exit. So just kind of north of Huntsville, but not way out. It's even in the 80s, it was still kind of close to.
What did you say? I want to make sure.
Come forward with that.
Family didn't know of anyone that could have been out there or anything like that?
No, sir.
No, so they didn't know anybody that was at the
Could you
prison.
mind reminding us again, in relation to where we are now, how far outside of town she was found on I-45, or just the general area where she was, where her remains were found?
Just north of the 118, about a mile and a half, is about a mile south of the FM 1696 exit. So just kind of north of Huntsville, but not way out. It's
Wait, what did you say? A mile? God, I keep missing.
To the FM 1696. Just north of the 118, about a mile and a half, is about a mile south of the FM 1696.
Okay. Okay, have it in here. Oh, there it is. Whoa. FM 1696, they're saying, about a mile south. So I think that's where I've got it from back then. Okay, a mile's a little bit further. So, you know, maybe... Ugh, shit, what happened right there? It just disappeared off the face of the earth. Wow. Oh, shoot. Yeah, so that was the right spot. She was hitchhiked. There's a truck stop right there. She was seen. See, I think she was hitchhiking with truckers and just got in the wrong truck with the wrong type of person, and she was probably killed quickly somewhere. You know, I don't even know. Might have even been at the truck stop itself, and then her body was just dumped on the side of the road over here. You know, there's actually a service road right there. I wonder... Nah. I think it was just from a truck stop. Let's see. Because I remember how it's done. Yeah, well, we got some more coming up in Texas there. Cheek pinching granny. Do you really pinch your grandkids' cheeks? Come on.
Exit. So just kind of north of Huntsville, but not way out. It's even in the 80s, it was still kind of close to town. Yes, sir.
I guess a lot of the times we hear the term no stone when left unturned when talking about finding who this person was. For the investigation right now, what are the steps taking place as of today?
There are multiple steps taking place. I can't really go into those. There's
Cheek pinching granny. That's
other
cool.
investigations
I like the
that are
name.
very similar to this that have happened within the state of Texas. So we're working with those agencies and trying to identify a suspect in those as well. We're also backtracking and talking to family members and trying to find out exactly where Sherri was, and we're going to try to find any connection that we can in those locations as well.
And that's part of this partnership that you see up here. We're all going to be pulling together and working together. Again, there's things that we can't get into, but there is new information that has come developed after the identity of Sherri has been known. But we're going to rely on this partnership, and we all come together. It's a force multiplier. Yes, ma'am.
Was she reported missing in Minnesota, and if so, when?
She was reported missing in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
It would have been in the 1980s when she
so
ran
far
away. She actually was not in her family's custody when she ran away. So it would have been the agency that actually had custody of her at the time that reported her. Unfortunately, we're unable to find that because the records have been purged since then.
Just anything more I'd like to say on having a little bit of closure on this. Obviously, still wouldn't find her killer, but we heard a statement from the family as the deputy read. But just for you guys staying on this case for so many years now, from 1980 to now, I'm sure you'll have a little bit of satisfaction that we know one more piece of the puzzle on this.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The first thing you have to do in order to solve a crime is you have to know who your victim is. in order to find out and try to create suspects and things of that nature, and to pursue your investigation. You got to know what direction to go. So that's one of the first things that you do in any criminal investigation.
Yeah, so here's an article. It says, Minnesota officials removed Sherri from her Stillwater home due to habitual truancy before she ran away and never returned. Walker County Sheriff Clint McCrae said Tuesday that his office never gave up on identifying the Walker County doe. So that's why she was taken from her home by, officials, because she was always, I don't know if that means like missing school a lot, but oh, you don't have any grandkids? Well, then why call yourself a grandma?
You've got to try to identify your victim in order to proceed.
Any technology or technique was used in this? How old is that technology or technique?
I'm going to refer that. So a lot of the work that, so our company started in 2018.
Welcome, Amy's Justice League.
The techniques we actually, the techniques we used in this case actually some of them were developed in the course of this actual case and are about a year old. And so I think it's important to note that the technology is new. 5 years ago, there would have been nowhere to do this kind of work. But not only that it is new, but it is accelerating maybe every 6 months. And I think you'll see a larger and larger number of cases that can be included in this technique next year and the year after. So it's very exciting, but it's also very new. And so it will take some time. It will not instantly deploy to all cases.
Can you go into detail what that technique is?
Yeah, we use a process. It's called forensic grade genome sequencing. And it's a big fancy word that basically means that we can take forensic material that ordinarily wouldn't be suitable for this kind of DNA testing, and we can basically prepare that DNA such that we can read information from it. So it's being able to unlock information, investigative leads from crime scene evidence that's just previously been locked away. And so it's a cause for optimism. There's probably as you heard, dozens of other cases, some related, some not, that may have evidence that has been intractable in the past. And with this rapid acceleration of technology, we can go back now and re-examine cases that have been deemed unsolvable.
Granny and Grandma are the same thing.
And see if now there's technology that can access that information. And it's a real testament to investigators, by the way, who in the 80s probably did not anticipate any of the folks up here standing doing what we're doing, to have done the work necessary to, as they do with all cases, to preserve, document, and catalog all the evidence at a crime scene. So it's also exciting as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Any other questions?
All right, you guys. So don't forget, if you guys need to, well, the thing is, here's the thing, everybody. Every single night we got to do the super chats, raise funds and everything to help support the channel and us doing this again too. I mean, like, we've got that fund this year built up to $19,500, but we've got to get quite a bit more funds to get to the third case. So if you guys would like to help out the channel, that'd be great. The second case we don't get to know about until, maybe there's an identity, but it's a criminal case, so they might come forward with it. So, oh, look at that. Look at the dogs are sleeping. So just to get you updated, for those of you who are new that are watching, so far from the revenue of the channel, we've donated $37,500. $2,500 of that was from Jeff S., who was going to send it to me, but I said, well, nope, just send it in separately. And that was to the DNA fund. So the DNA fund is $19,500. Completely covered the Bibb County John Doe case, which led to Daniel Armentrout. That was pretty amazing. So we've also donated $500 to the Polk County Sheriff's Department. Charlie Project $500. RAIN, which is violence against women and testing of backlogged rape kits, $5,000. NCMEC $4,450. Libyan Abbey Ballpark $1,500. And Texas Equisearch $5,050, and Innocence Project $1,000. All right, so without the nightly sort of, income generating that we're doing, we couldn't be doing anything like that. So if you can afford it and you want to help out the channel, feel free to do so with the super chat button. And also channel membership also is part of the same pool. It's all the revenue from YouTube is used to, I take about 40 to 50% of it and send it into various charities. All right. There you go. See? Thank you, Movie Star Memories. Yeah.
Again, there's no more questions. Thank you all very much for coming. There will be a copy of the statement from the family up here on the table, as well as photographs, and I'll be around the room if you have anything. Again, thank you so much for everyone's time coming.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
What, do I have to do a mukbang presentation? Man. Okay, well, good job, Othram Labs, there for getting another cold case solved. Another unidentified person. Thanks, Zozo. Oh, and there's Lee D. Or, as they like to say, Liver D. Not really. Yeah, she was really young. Wait, didn't they say 14? Is how old she was? Yeah, 14-year-old. They thought 15 to 18 or something like that. So it was a little bit lower. Yeah. All right, well, I guess my sales pitch isn't working, so we'll have to do something else. Let's see. Hey, thank you, Holly Evans. I want to take a look at... There's this one happening right now in... Hey, thank you, Holly Evans and Kathy L. All right. Thank you very much. So this is going on in France right now. It just sounds so similar to all these different... so I might look into it more tomorrow. But it says a girl aged 17 who went missing while jogging in a forest in northwestern France, sparking a mass search and nationwide concern, has been found. She was found alive, prosecutors said this evening. Police confirmed that the young girl who disappeared yesterday has found alive. She will be medically taken. I don't know if she just ran away or not, but to ensure her health, investigators had been using data from the running app, which showed that the girl's workout had stopped abruptly in a rural area in Mayenne region of northwest France. Miss Magny said earlier that she had opened a kidnapping probe, but added that no line of investigation was being ruled in relation to the teenager's fate. Some 200 police joined the search for the girl, who had not been named by authorities after her parents raised the alarm on Monday. So I think this was added later here. Let's see. The young woman ran... Thank you, living it! The young woman ran just 1 kilometer compared with her usual loop of 5K. Her father found various personal effects belonging to his daughter, which are being re-examined. There were no further details over the circumstances. So what's her name? Now, let's see. Injured, so she was injured. I wonder what happened to her. No, I'm not going to cover any of that. Yeah. That's more of like a news story. It's just, you know, that kind of stuff happens all the time. Soccer games, just a lot of idiots crammed in there, all greedy, wanting to get up on stage, and you know, they don't care about squishing somebody. They just. But no. I know that gets a lot of views, but this is a true crime channel. That's just a human tragedy. You know what I'm saying? But see, that other channels will cover it because it's hot, you know, even if it's outside of the genre that they cover. I don't do that, you know. Yeah, and every once in a while I'll look at something else, like, you know, we were looking at the cave rescue in Thailand. I think it was Thailand. Was it Thailand? But, you know, we started covering it when it was just kind of a smaller deal. And then it got bigger and bigger. And that was just interesting. I mean, I guess we investigate stuff. But I'm more into the true crime genre, right? I mean, I don't know. It's just not something I'm not really that interested in it, to be honest with you. Is that something you wanted me to cover, Jen H? I mean, I noticed that 30 people left when I said no. Yeah, that was crazy, the one under the Thailand rescue was nuts, wasn't it? Okay, well, I'm just who I am, Amy. So if you ever say something like, oh my God, maybe it was aliens, I might go, oh, that's ridiculous. But you just have to deal with it, you know. Hey, thanks, Amy. Justice League, you know. So I'm just who I am, you know. And that, but the way it works is the next day we're just back to normal again. Nobody cares. It's just a show is a show. There's a show, and the next day there's another show, and the next day there's another one. And nobody remembers any of those things. You know, I sure as hell don't. Like, I'll get people, God, Gray was so mean to me, and I'll go, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. Who are you even? You know, it's like, it's wild, you know. Now, people that are here all the time, I know who they are, and then, you know, if I feel bad and stuff like that. But I'll go to a channel, and there's just some random person, oh, here's that Gray guy. He was really mean this one time and I just go, man, I don't even know what you're talking about, you know. Yeah, but we had it all figured out. The Thailand one, you know. We even said that what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to drug the kids so that they're not awake, because it'd be, if they freak out into there, they're going to die. And that's exactly what they did. And remember, we even had a guest come on that was like in the cave. I don't know, it was cave diving or something. Thank you, Dreaming Girl. A 17-year-old wants to go jogging on Monday afternoon. When she doesn't come back, the parents turn on the, I think this is translated, so it's not very good. So I think it's went to go jogging. A missing teenager jogger was found alive in northwest France the day after her disappearance in a major police search. The 17-year-old will receive medical care. There's still no information about the background. The investigation will continue. I don't know what's going on in this one. Sounds like maybe she was abducted and then let go at some point. Thank you, Eugenie. What do you mean, Charles? Oh, before you started going here? Yeah, the Thailand rescue? Yeah. And here's another news piece here. This one's pretty crazy. Suspected St. Louis serial killer. Oh, by the way, I think it's St. Louis. Remember the case that we covered a long time ago where there was a girl with a she had her head she was decapitated, and then the investigation stalled, and one of the officers sent the clothing that she was wearing, a shirt that had blood all over, and sent it to a psychic who then lost the damn thing. Do you guys remember that one? Yeah. Well, I had left him a message the other day because I was thinking, boy, wouldn't that be great if we could do genetic genealogy on that person. And then he called me back today, or I think, was it today or yesterday? Heck, I don't even remember. He called me back, and I think it was yesterday, and he told me that they have been working on it, and he too thought it was ridiculous that somebody sent the shirt to a psychic. And then he also was saying that, their genealogy has it down to like some, even like second cousins, which is, man, you're pretty close at that point. But they're still not able to determine because nobody's really helping that much. So he's kind of like thinking that it's a possibility that it's a family member that did something to her and then didn't want her identified. I don't know though. I mean, who would cut off a family member's head and then like keep the head somewhere or put it somewhere? I don't know. I mean, I know the identity of the head would lead to identity, but because the fingers, there wouldn't be fingerprints of a little girl. So he did call me back and say that they are already doing that, and they have been for a while, and they spent a lot of money on it. And I was thinking, man, I bet you anything, if you got the incredible genealogists at Identifinders, they'd be able to tell you, really get that information quick. I told him, well, if you ever stall out, you might want to give them a shot with the same information. And he's like, I'll do that. So there you go. All right. What are you talking about, Moonshine Girl? All right, Mountain Jam 71. 2 months, huh? Months, M-U-N-T-S. By the way, you guys should get that Months mug. It's got 12 serial killers on the front. I think I'm even going to do the one female that was on there at some point. She was nuts, that one. Yeah, so anyways, look at this one here. The 25-year-old man accused of shooting 6 people in and around St. Louis in September also shot 2 people in Kansas City, according to new information released by the FBI on Monday. The 8 shootings resulted in 6 deaths. Perez Deshi Reed, 25, was arrested on Friday in Independence, Missouri, and charged over the weekend in St. Louis County with 2 September murders, including a 16-year-old girl. Authorities have said they are seeking several additional charges. Reed was arrested while on a train from Kansas City, Missouri to St. Louis. The train stopped in Independence, and he was taken into custody without incident. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Hater Nation. Let's see. I mean, I checked my emails, so I would know that I got it, but thank you. Let's see. At the time of the arrest, Reed was carrying a .40 caliber semi-automatic pistol. That caliber matches firearm shell casings found at unsolved shootings in and around St. Louis, so they matched up the shell casings. While living in St. Louis, Reed traveled to Kansas City, Kansas, to shoot and kill 2 people in a way consistent with the St. Louis area shootings. Several agencies have been involved in the investigation, including the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, and they're going to go through all this stuff. Following the September killings, Reed took a train to Kansas City and was spotted on surveillance video October 28th entering the 9th and Washington apartment of a man who was later found shot and killed in his apartment. According to federal court documents, the man was identified as 35-year-old Damon Irvin. I wonder what his purpose was. I mean, was there... serial killers, I always think, is that they kill for a pleasure of some kind, a satisfaction of some sort. Like if somebody went around and robbed homes, and that's what they were doing, and that part of their MO was to kill, even if they killed 10 people at different robberies, I wouldn't. It's weird. I mean, in my mind, I don't call that person a serial killer, even though they are technically. But serial killers, to me, sort of have that a deviant, a reason that isn't normal-ish. Like shooting somebody in a robbery just to get them out of the way would be sort of a MO to conduct the crime. And they're... I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying? It's just different to me. Everybody that we've talked about has another like sort of level of depravity going on. No, well, good for him. Yeah. I'm just not interested in the case. Yeah. Thanks, though, Colin. Yeah. I mean, he didn't stop the concert and all that. And, it's just... People are greedy. They just want, they're not paying attention. They don't really give a shit. Let's see. A day later, on October 29th, the FBI raid said Reed was seen entering the apartment 25-year-old Roger Farrow before a woman's nude, lifeless body was found. Okay, so that has a sexual motive in there. I wonder how many more that guy's probably killed before they actually made a connection there. I mean, there could be people all over the place. Look at that psycho. Got a little crescent on his face there. Yeah, I mean, of course there's a crime. I mean, you can call it a crime, oh yeah, he committed a crime because he kept playing and stuff, but that's just kind of it's more like a negligence situation, I like to figure out a mystery. There isn't one there. You get what I'm saying? Like if you're covering the stampede at the concert, it's really almost for sensationalistic reasons at this point, because it's there's no mystery here. It just happened. You can see it happening. People push forward, and maybe the guy didn't stop it. He could have stopped it earlier, but if he had stopped it, wouldn't have people run the other way and squished people? See what I'm saying? There really isn't anything. You could spend all day talking about it and playing memorial videos that people get all jacked up and everything. But I don't know. I just don't do that. Hey, thanks, Nosy Parker. Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, let me ask you guys this: what interests you about the stampede there right now? Like, what makes you go, "Wow, I really want to know more about it"? It's just it happens all the time. Soccer games, there's always some negligence involved every single time, because those should always be safe environments. But there's also a point where the people there are responsible for being absolutely, just selfish individuals. I I mean, I saw one video where there was a guy being worked on CPR in the middle of the crowd, and then just, behind them, further away from the stage, they're still putting their hands up. Yay! I mean, are you that clueless of people? What it really shows me is how stupid people are in society. We are filled with a bunch of morons that live in this country. I'd say 50% of the people that live in the United States are absolute idiots. I mean, I'm not even being sarcastic. Just stupid people, okay? Just look at that crap. It's unreal. So I could sit there and blame everybody in the crowd, for going forward. But then if the guy on the stage had said, "Hey, everybody, hurry up, get out, they're crushing," they would have turned around and crushed people going the other direction. Right? I don't know how. He was warned and everything. The whole thing is, I don't really want to go through it because there's nothing to figure out. It happened. He did it. And when I'm saying 50%, that doesn't mean any of you are, right? It means that I happen to get the people over here that have brains. Yeah. So there you go. I talked about it for a couple minutes. All right. Is that enough? Thanks. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to go on to the Fort Worth, and this will probably take the whole rest of the time. So I'm going to need you guys to, keep me liquefied with super chats so that we can have the energy to get through this. You know what I'm saying? Says there's more. I don't, whatever he says, it's okay, Karen. He can say there's more to it and all this. There was a stage, people went forward, they got crushed. There's people getting crushed. It's a stampede scenario. There's negligence involved. There isn't a homicide. It's not a murder. It's nothing like that. Okay? I know people want it to be more in certain situations, but yeah. Here's what I think. People will turn it into something bigger if they want to. They do that all the time. So, sort of like the Kyle Rittenhouse case. When you go watch the news, go watch the news footage from when Kyle Rittenhouse got arrested and watch CNN or MSNBC. Boy, they made it sound totally different. Yeah. I'm not sure what a C theories is. Not C theories, so I don't get it. Oh, okay, I get it. I get what you're saying, Karen. I like that. Yeah, I agree with him. Tell him I agree with him. Right. Yeah, I think there might be more than 50% of the people. Next time you get called to jury duty, look around and say to yourselves, are they really peers of mine? And if you say yes, whew, wow. I know, isn't that incredible, Blaze? It's not even close to what the news was saying. Like, he got there and he was just firing wildly. It was like a mass shooting event. No, it wasn't at all. Wasn't like that whatsoever. I'm not sure what that means, K.A., but yeah, maybe you do. I don't know what we means, but you and some other people. Let's see. Which one are you talking about, movie star memories? I don't know what you're referring to. See, you know what sucks is rewind mode. I'm about ready to ban it again. I know people like it because they can come in late and catch up, but ooh, yikes. Thanks, Swerbs. And Jessica Schubach. Yeah, I've never really followed it either. I just watched 2 or 3 witnesses today, and the whole time I kept saying, wait, that helps him. Wait, that helps him. Wait, that helps. And those are prosecution witnesses. Now when the defense goes up there, it's just going to be a bloodbath for the prosecution. It's going to be amazing. I mean, I can't imagine it being... It seemed like the witnesses that were speaking today were defense witnesses. Okay, now the big one I saw was just the shot to the bicep. I think the problem, the key to the case is, can they describe and prove that there were justifiable shootings on the 2 other people that were actually killed by him? See, I got to see that part. Like the 2 people that were killed, the first one, they said that, yeah, he was threatening to kill them. And then later, there was a confrontation and something happened. I'd have to see all of that put together by the defense. I'm still trying to get the pinching cheek granny to explain what she was talking about. I'm good at theorizing. I come up when I go over cold cases or any of the cases that are in the news, and I go through and theorize and map. And when I theorize, it's always based on the facts of a case. It's really accurate and close to what actually ends up happening. I'm not saying I'm always right, but I think if you guys have been here, it's usually like 70, I'd say at least 70-80% accurate on a prediction of what happened. I mean, there's a few out there that, no, we didn't really get that one. Or me, anyways. Well, thanks, Nosy Parker. Yeah, that was a trial today. All right, you guys ready to get on to the last one? I might have to go eat an apple really quick, though. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is more Fort Worth here. Fort Worth is not a place you'd want to live in the 70s. I'm going to tell you that right now, especially if you're a female. Alright, so hold on. I'm going to... wait, I got better music in this thing. Where is that? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, everybody, party time! Oh yeah, I could come on and do my robot. How about that one? How about that one? Now the rave party is over, everybody. I like that one. What do you guys think? I really like my biting the apple sound. It's good stuff. Thanks, Tony Lee. All right. Okay. All right. This one's kind of a long one. This one person must be a suspect in this one. But I don't know. We'll get to it later. This might take the whole time. Okay, yeah, so Eric Erskine in the Delphi, you know, I think it's one of the relatives of Abby. He said he got my paver order. No, they are all printed and ready to go. Boom. All right, sweet. So the freaks are going to be on a paver. Or two pavers in at the Libyan Abbey ballpark. All right, so here we go. This is back in 1974, just before Christmas. They're actually going shopping for Christmas. But it seemed familiar, but I couldn't find that I've ever covered it anywhere. Yeah, and that's because we've donated so much money. So that's what we're like. I didn't have to buy them separately. They just said, "Hey, you want to do this?" Because we've donated over $2,000 to the Libyan Abbey ballpark, and that's because of you, the freaks, who make it happen. All right. So police are searching for 3 young girls who left on a shopping trip yesterday and have not been seen since. The 3 are Julie Ann Moseley, 9, of 3508 Gordon, Lisa Renee Wilson, 14, of 5233 Frazier, and Mary Rachel, I think it's like Trlica, 17. So she's 17, Renee's 14, and then Julie Ann is 9. Police said the 3 went shopping at Seminary South Shopping Center. So these are the 3 homes. Julie Ann Moseley lived there, Renee Wilson right there, and Rachel Trlica. You know, it's interesting though. These are all the other cases that we've covered, and they're unsolved also. They were also in Fort Worth, and it's hard to think to yourself, wow, I mean, these are 10 years prior to these other ones. But as we know, if you're a serial killer, you could be 39 and maybe you were 29 before. I mean, it's just 10 years. It's nothing. Police said the 3 went shopping at Seminary South Shopping Center. Oh, and the shopping center is right here. So 1, 2, 3, the shopping center right there. Let's see. About noon yesterday, in a car driven by Miss Trlica, the 17-year-old. When the girls failed to return home late yesterday, the parents of one of the girls made a search of the shopping center parking lot and found their 1972 car parked and locked on the east side of the center. There was no sign of the girls. So, the east side, that means it was probably over here. Yeah. And there used to be a Sears there, but Sears doesn't exist anymore, really. So now somebody's looking up. No, there is one, Gray. I got it. Okay, well, Sears pretty much shut down. So it's over on the east side over here. There was no sign of the girls. Police said today that they have no reason to suspect foul play, but added none of the girls has ever been reported as a runaway, and the parents of all three say such a disappearance is unlike any of the girls. Man, I mean, what a nightmare. 3 different people. And here's a picture of them. This picture here, you don't see as much of her, but you see these 2 of them. Okay, so the note comes from missing girl. So right away, it was weird. Like the next day, police were analyzing a mysterious handwritten letter. Oh, wait, what's going on? Oh, I thought you guys were saying, look it. So Rita Schaefer's on rewind mode, obviously. Yeah, I was like looking out. I thought there was a look it scenario going. Police were analyzing a mysterious handwritten letter received Tuesday at the home of one of 3 girls who disappeared Monday after they left to go Christmas shopping. The letter, which police verified had been written by Mrs. Rachel Trlica, 17. Wow. So they verified that? A Southwest high school student living at 3712 Minot gave officers a clue to the disappearance of Miss Trlica, but none as to why the other girls were gone. Missing also are Julie Ann Moseley, 9, of 3508 Gordon, and Renee Wilson, 14, of 5233 Fraser, who had left with Mrs. Trlica to go shopping. It's her handwriting, police juvenile officer Billy Wilbanks said, but I don't know if she was forced to write it. She said she had to get away for about a week. Wilbanks and the other officers said they questioned why Miss Trlica would take the other 2 girls with her, right, if she were intent on leaving home, and police said none of the 3 girls had any record of running away from home. Wilbanks, Mrs. Trlica's husband, I think this is, the mother of her, and the other girls' parents raised questions about the letter. The letter itself, evidently written hurriedly with a ballpoint pen, came in an envelope that had been addressed in pencil, and the writing on the envelope does not match that of any of the 3 girls, police said. I don't put a lot of stock in the letter, said Julie's mother, Mrs. J.W. Moseley. It just doesn't make any sense, said Renee's mother. When she signed her name, she misspelled Rachel. Tommy Trlica said of the letter he received from his wife. Let's see. She signed it. Rachel, they spelled it different. Then she went over the second E with an I. I mean, isn't it incredible to get this kind of information in a newspaper article? I mean, there's no way in hell they would release anything close to that now. They'd keep all that stuff secret. Then she went over the second E with an L like she was in a real hurry. One fact included in the letter, however, was correct, police said. It stated that Miss Trlica's 1972 sedan could be found on the parking lot of Seminary South Shopping Center, where it was located Monday. But you mentioned that in the paper, though, right? Like you said it. Police Tuesday were checking bus stations and other spots in search of the 3. They asked that anyone knowing of the girls' whereabouts to contact the police. So there you go. These 3 right here. That's kind of interesting, right? I mean, it mentions where the car would be found, but it was also, that was in the paper the day before. Right? So couldn't he have just, I don't know. That almost seems like that's why they don't give out information, so people don't have it. Police today continue to search for 3 girls who disappeared Monday despite a letter reportedly mailed by one of the girls to her parents. The handwritten letter was sent to the parents of Mrs. Rachel Trlica, 17, one of the missing girls, but offered no explanation as to why the other 2 girls were gone. Both police and Mrs. Trlica's parents questioned certain aspects of the letter. Ms. Trlica, along with 9-year-old Julie Ann Moseley and 14-year-old Renee Wilson, disappeared Monday. This is Wednesday. After going to Seminary South Shopping Center to do some Christmas shopping. A car driven by Ms. Trlica later was found on the center's parking lot by her parents. Police juvenile officer, hey, thanks, Cindy Leon, Billy Wilbank said Mrs. Trlica, in her letter, simply said she had to get away for about a week. That's all it said, huh? Well, you just mentioned a minute ago that it talked about the car. It's her handwriting, Wilbank said, but I don't know if she was forced to write it. Wilbank said the letter was written in, let's see, was written in, I think they meant they left out a word, in pen, while the envelope was in pencil and in a different hand from any of the 3 girls. I don't put a lot of stock in the letter, said Mrs. J.W. Moseley. Well, I mean, do you think that's her writing? So that would be important to know that somebody's out there and made her write something. So when you say not a lot of stock in the, are you talking about the meaning of the letter or just the fact that a letter came from your daughter? I understand not believing in what it said, but if that's her writing, then that means a killer had her write it. So it's important, definitely. Three girls who disappeared Monday from Seminary South Shopping Center. Went Christmas shopping. I don't know, something's cut off over there. Were missing Wednesday, despite police efforts to locate them. Police still were puzzling over a handwritten letter, scribbled hurriedly. I know I'm going to catch it, I know I'm going to catch it, but we just had to get away. We've gone to Houston. See you in about a week. Huh. Yeah, so that's what was on there. Deborah Arnold, Rachel's sister, said her family's telephone had rung repeatedly Tuesday and Wednesday from persons interested in the girls' safety. Persons with possible information about the 3 are asked to call police. All right, so, those started on the 24th, the articles. They went missing on the 23rd. The articles start on the 24th. Now we're on the 27th. Anxiety mounted Thursday among the parents and friends of 3 girls who disappeared Monday while Christmas shopping at Seminary South Shopping Center. Police remained without clues in the case Thursday. The longer this drags on, the worse it gets, said Mrs. J.W. Moseley of 3508 Gordon, mother of 9-year-old Julie Ann Moseley, youngest of 3. When it started, we thought they were just out on a lark. The 3, Julie Moseley, Mrs. Rachel Trlica, 17. They departed without a word to anyone, but a note from Mrs. Trlica was received by her husband. Oh, so she has a husband. Tommy, the next day. So at 17, she had a husband. Wait, let's see. Anyone but a note from Mrs. Trlica. Yeah, so they're saying from her. Oh, that's weird. I thought I was misreading that earlier. So apparently she has a husband, the 17-year-old. I know I'm going to catch it, Miss Trlica hurriedly wrote in ballpoint ink, but we just had to get away. We've gone to Houston. See you in about a week. So that doesn't even make any sense, right? Oh, man, we're going to get in trouble. We just had to get away. We'll see you in a week. Well, now you're going to go back? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. Since the arrival of that note, police and relatives of the girls said not one word from any of the three has been received, and concern for the girls' safety is increasing. I really don't know, but I've been talking to Miss Trlica's sister, Miss Deborah Arnold, and since it's been so long now, we figure there's foul play. I hope it's not true, but it's just been so long. There are so many questions, but there aren't any answers. That's the hard part. The portion of the letter that said the three were going to Houston was being discounted by police. Yeah, I can understand doing that. What's interesting, though, is that she really did write that letter and it was sent. I don't have anything to base this on, said police juvenile officer Billy Wilbanks, who is in charge of the investigation. But if they're runaways, I think they're still in Fort Worth. And if something has happened to them, I still think they're in Fort Worth, but that's just my opinion. Wilbanks said police still are asking persons with information about the girls to give them a call. That's pretty weird, actually, to have her write that letter. And it was really almost sent to sort of free up more time. You know, you're trying to get it. Okay, well, don't start looking quite yet. You know, yeah, give us a week. You know, they're trying to get a head start. I have a feeling they're not even in Fort Worth. They were taken somewhere else, and that's why you would need a week of sort of a lag time where you could drive a long ways before anybody was even looking. Maybe, I don't know. You know, it's just a thought. No real leads received in hunt for three girls. Police said Friday they had received several tips but no real leads. They last were seen shortly before noon when they went shopping. Mrs. Trlica's husband, Tommy, received a letter Thursday allegedly signed by his wife saying the three had gone to Houston. And I can't imagine Tommy, you know, doing something to those other kids, you know. Doesn't make any sense. A reward fund was begun Friday by Mrs. John E. Kennedy. You know, people are really rallying around it. I mean, it was really extensively covered back then. I think she did have a different last name. I was wondering why. It was sort of bugging me because her dad died at the age of 39, I believe. And his last name was different. It was just kind of confusing, but now it's not. You know? A private investigator looking into the disappearance of three Fort Worth girls today criticized the police for their refusal to open the police files on the girl, so they wouldn't share it with him. At a press conference this morning, John Swain, flanked by the families of the missing trio, said he is prepared to file a lawsuit to gain access to the files if necessary. Let's see. 3 months later, Fort Worth police say they have no new leads. So we actually skipped all the way. There wasn't a lot of coverage after the end of the year, and then now in March, they've got a private investigator of 1975. Swain said he believes the key to the girl's disappearance may be on a police taped conversation of a phone call to police dispatchers the evening of the disappearance. We have received information there is a license number and description of a vehicle made by a telephone, Swain said. This is why we're interested in these tape recordings. Our sources tell us these have been destroyed since. Police Chief T.S. Wall said later in the morning he has no knowledge of a tape conversation, but said all the dispatcher tapes are erased every 60 days so they can be reused. Swain knows that. Swain knows that, I told him yesterday, Walls said, concerning the police files on the case, he said. He wants everything we've got. I don't see where we're obligated to turn over everything. We don't open our files up to anybody. It's against all sorts of rules and laws. That's our policy. He said he sees no reason for a private investigator to bother. Persons police already have interviewed in the case. So they don't. The police don't want this private investigator to be bugging the same people they've already interviewed. But see, I think that kind of stuff's bogus, because sometimes police, when they interview, you see it all the time, they get kind of like tunnel vision, and they don't really ask the right kind of questions sometimes. You know, so why not let somebody else give it a go, right? Like, why not let somebody else try to talk to somebody? They might tell them something that you weren't able to get from them. You know, I don't know, it's just stuff like that bugs me. Oh, and by the way, let's just take a look at the homes that they live at. I don't know if they're the same. I guess we'll see here in a second. Yeah, so there's Renee Wilson. Pretty sure it's this one right over there. That looks like that's probably been the same. And this is Moseley. That one looks like it's probably... I don't think that one looked like that. I wouldn't think. It could have. It just looks a little fresher, modern. Doesn't have that typical look. And then Rachel, the 17-year-old that was married. And that looks... let's see. Well, I guess we'll be able to tell here in a second. That could be, yeah. Yeah, it looks kind of old, 1960 type, 50, 60 style there. Right. More than 100 volunteers and law enforcement officers searched around 10 bridges along Texas 35 south of here Sunday for clues to the whereabouts of 3 missing Fort Worth area girls. The search was fruitless, officers said. Calhoun County Sheriff Maurice Woods and John Swaim, a private investigator from Fort Worth, headed the search, which lasted until late afternoon. The search centered beneath a bridge spanning Hog Bayou, where Swaim said he was recently told by an anonymous caller that the girls' bodies would be found. Other bridges, that was probably a psychic, searched. It's near water. There's water and like a, you know, I see a cement building. It was cars. Hold on. I see cars. There's all kinds of things. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't make a no Delphi emoji. I just think it's nuts when people show up to a show that has nothing to do with Delphi and they bring it up. Hey, Gray, do you think? And it's just, you sound like a clown when you do that, okay? Just you know, like this person that just sits around wringing their hands over and over like, I only care about one thing, okay? You're not helping anybody, you're not doing anything. Nothing you're doing is helping anything. I can guarantee it. So, yes, and with that said, everybody, if you'd like to help, we're only about 60% of a normal show, so we got to get through this. Last night was a short show. I apologize for that. But this one, we're only 20% through the PDF files, and they get longer as they go. More than 100 volunteers and law enforcement officers searched around 10 bridges along Texas 35. Calhoun County Sheriff Maurice Woods and John Swaim, a private investigator from Fort Worth, headed to search the area. They were told by a phone call. Other bridges searched spanned various bayous. Swaim was hired by the girl's family after police failed to find the trio. He would not say how he received the information. Yeah, because it sounded like this on the other end. Swaim said after Sunday's unsuccessful search, however, he believes the girls may have run away from home, but he would not say where he thought they might be now. Fort Worth police said they received information in February similar to Swaim about the Port Lavaca area bridges. Fort Worth police said they notified Port Lavaca police, who checked the bridges and riverbanks without finding any trace of the three. Hey, welcome. Hey, Gloria Batari. I don't think I've seen you in a long time. Yeah. So here's the thing, everybody. When there's other channels, people send super chats in and everything like that. At least on this channel, when you send in anything, you know that at least of the obviously it's 40 to 50% of the take-home funds from YouTube. So like after I get taxed, there's money, then boom, it's like around 50%, and I make up the difference on my using PayPal as well. So everything you send in helps out the channel and it helps out the charities. That's why we were able to donate $37,500. Yeah, this is 1974, but now we're into 1975 on the actual the articles now. That one disappeared. So now we're gonna. Last one was April 1975. Now we're on to June 1975. And it just still like nobody has any good leads or anything. The fate of 3 Fort Worth girls who disappeared without a trace 6 months ago is as much a mystery today as it was then. Police, professional, psychics, there you go, a private detective, the girl's family, and the lure of more than $4,000 in reward money, which that's pretty good back then. That's probably like $25,000 now, I would say, have failed to uncover a single concrete lead to their whereabouts. It was last Christmas Eve when the three, Miss Rachel Trlica, 17, Renee Wilson, 14, and Julie Moseley, 9, vanished during a shopping trip at Seminary South Shopping Center. They were seen there. There's going to be repeated stuff in these, but a lot of times they add something else. Let's see. They were seen, they reportedly were seen there, so they were seen at the shopping center, and Mrs. Trlica's car was found on the parking lot that night. No one has come forward with information about how or when they left. You can't adjust to it, said Cotton Arnold. Let's see. Miss Wilson's mother, Mrs. Richard Wilson, I'm still hoping they're alive, she said. I've thought about it a lot. I just made up my mind. It's such a weird deal. That letter really is odd. Let's see, he said, the man also insisted on being able to... Let's see what's going on here. He told us it is a friend of his who can tell us where the girls are if, number one, the reward money will be paid, and number two, if he can get full immunity from any prosecution of any criminal act that he may have been involved with the girls, Swaim said. Oh, weird. Thanks, Gloria. He said the man also insisted on being able to surrender directly to district attorney's office with no police and no Texas Rangers. So who the hell are they talking about? The investigation into the girls' disappearance is still going. John Swaim, a private detective hired by the girls' families, reports he received an interesting call from an unidentified man about 1 month ago who claimed he could lead Swaim to the girls. He did not indicate whether they were alive or dead. The next time the man called, he sent Swaim to 17 different telephones in the city, making sure the call would not be traced before he would discuss the possible deal in more detail. Swaim said he offered to set up a meeting with the man, but he refused. His response to that was that you can outline it on the telephone. The man has not telephoned since Swaim said. The detective said the only information he gleaned from the conversation was an indication that the girls were never taken out of the state. He said in one conversation he offered to contact the U.S. Attorney's Office to ask about immunity from the prosecution if the girls had been taken across state line. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting deal that somebody would make. Why would you even do that if... That almost sounds like that person might have actually known something. Could have just been a prank, too, but it seemed pretty elaborate to have them go to 17 different phone booths. Yeah, I know, that's the thing. Is it the killer, or is it just somebody goofing around? Despite reward and ongoing investigation, the disappearance last Christmas of 3 Fort Worth girls remains a mystery. Police professionals were on July 2nd, 1975. Police professionals, psychics, private investigators, the girls, families, and the lure of some this sounds almost exactly like the other one. Wow, they posted the same article like a week later? Yeah, that's the same article. Wow, how weird. That was June 23rd, and then on the 2nd of July, they used the same article. 18th of July. Raymond W. Arnold, father of a teenage girl who disappeared from the Seminary South Shopping Center parking lot, along with 2 companions last winter, died early this morning. Arnold, 39, this is the one, I think he's so Trlica is her married last name. Arnold, 39, of 5748 6th Avenue, died about 3:15 a.m. in a hospital. He had ill health for about 2 years. His daughter, Mrs. Mary Rachel Trlica, 17, disappeared December 23rd after going on a shopping trip with Lisa Renee Wilson and Julie Moseley. Arnold, a native of Marshall, was owner of A1 Arnold's Transmission. Man, it's such a young age. 39, huh? Arnold was a member of the American Legion and Trentman Avenue Baptist Church. He served with the Texas National Guard for 10 years and was an active citizen band radio operator. He had lived in Fort Worth for about 20 years. Survivors include his wife, Frances, another daughter, Mrs. Deborah Westfall of Fort Worth, a son, Rusty. So Arnold was her actual last name prior to getting married, I guess. Funeral services will be held at 1 p.m. tomorrow. So at least he didn't have to endure another 40-something years of not knowing anything. All right, here you go. Yeah, here we go. Help find these missing people. Yeah. Oh, this must be a real narrow one. Yeah, there it is. Hope still alive for missing trio. Now we're in August of 1975. On December 23rd, 3 young girls vanished in the holiday crowds of Seminary South Shopping Center. The whereabouts of Rachel Arnold, there it is, And now they got Arnold in there. Trlica, 17. Renee Wilson and Julie Moseley remains a mystery which continues to baffle police and private detectives statewide. Thus far, all leads start and end with the girl's car found abandoned at the shopping center. Aside from a note reportedly written by Ms. Trlica stating the three had gone to Houston for a week, there has been no communication with the girls. Experts aren't even sure the note is valid. I wonder if that was like early sex trafficking. Some weird deal where, you had all these different ages to satisfy a wide range of monsters out there. Because it just seems so weird. 3 kids. Nobody saw anything? The week specified in the note soon passed, as did the months. Meanwhile, the families wait not knowing. Miss Cotton Arnold said her parents began getting together after the disappearance to compare information. If the girls could see the stories in the newspapers, I believe they'd call, said Mrs. Arnold. I think they're alive but are being held somewhere. That hope dimmed briefly in April when a fisherman in San Antonio found a human leg near a small lake. 5 bodies were found, but only 2 were bodies of women. The girls were not among them. An earlier search around Port Lavaca ended with the same negative results. Since Christmas, the families have mailed some 70,000 handbills and posters throughout the United States. After San Antonio, a lot of the posters started coming down, said Mrs. J.W. Moseley. I wish people would put them back up because we know for sure it wasn't them down there. All 3 households have received mail from every manner of psychic, seer, and crank. So that's why I hate those people. Okay? So if you're a psycho, same thing. If you're a psychic or a, glorified, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, just unsubscribe, please. You're embarrassing. Okay? Now, I think there are people out there that have, like you can have intuition, things like that, but psychics are a complete abomination. All right? So please unsubscribe if you are one of them and if you think you're a psychic, and you're just like really offended by what I just said, just unsubscribe immediately. Thank you. All right. Another one bites the dust. Yeah. Hey, psychics, what am I about to say? Yeah, that's what I thought. You didn't know, right? Because you're not a psychic. Knock, knock. Who's there? Nope, see you later. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. You get this... this person walks up to a psychic's house, knocks on the door, and the psychic says, "Who's there?" And they go, forget it. You must not be a psychic. Yeah, and that's exactly right. Why would the psychic need to say who's there? You would just know, right? I mean, that one is awesome. Yeah. Here we go. She said she lost 3 blouses to psychic. Blouses? Oh, wait. I've got a stack of letters that high that I've written. Oh, man, let's just go through this because it sounds like they're going to start bashing them. Since Christmas, the families have mailed 70,000 letters. After San Antonio, a lot of the posters started coming down. Since Christmas, all 3 households have received mail from every manner of psychic, seer, and crank. But as Mrs. Richard Wilson put it, when you're desperate, and that's exactly what I tell people. When people are desperate, the psychics come out in force. They just blood-sucking wackos. I've got a stack of letters that high that I've written them, she said, spreading her hands. She said she lost 3 blouses to psychics. You know, of course, they need to, I got to hold it. Oh, near a tree. There's a brick wall at some point. She said she lost 3 blouses to psychics. And hence the earlier story where we had the young black girl who was missing her head, and one of the officers sent the only blouse, the only article of clothing that was worth anything to a freaking psychic, who promptly lost the damn thing. And hopefully that officer lost their job and was shunned from almost ever working anywhere ever again, because that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. Okay. She said she lost 3 blouses to psychics who requested a piece of her daughter's clothing. She was wearing a necklace belonging to Renee, which she said had been mailed all over the country. About 60% of the psychics nationwide claim a blue hippie van, is involved. The same percentage believe the girls, traveled north, not south, as the note said. One woman told the families the girls' bodies were in a shallow grave near a creek in Mansfield. Mrs. Arnold, her oldest daughter Debbie, 19, and Mrs. Wilson walked several miles of creek banks in February following a map the psychic prepared. At one point, where one of the girls was supposed to have been, Debbie reached down into the water and pulled up the skull of a pig. Oh, you know, we get fooled by pigs all the time. You know, it's really weird. It's like the blue clay will trick whatever you call those, divining rod people. Oh, yes, every once in a while the blue clay will creep in and make it seem like there was water there. The mother admit they do go searching on their own. They don't go searching on their own much anymore. They haven't given up, but the number of leads in the immediate area has dwindled. All right. Man held for absence calls may yield info on 3 girls. The private detective retained by the families of 3 missing Fort Worth girls said Monday the arrest of a 28-year-old man in connection with a string of obscene telephone calls, telephone calls may provide some information on the disappearances. The detective, John Swaim, said the suspect's name has come up numerous times since he began investigating the disappearance in March. Swaim said a background check on the man revealed he worked for a store in South Fort Worth where one of the 3 missing girls, Miss Rachel Trlica, 18, applied for a job shortly before her disappearance. That's interesting. Miss Trlica of 3712 Minot Lisa Renee Wilson, 15, and Julie Ann Moseley, 10, disappeared while at a shopping trip to Seminary South Shopping Center. Miss Trlica abandoned auto found on the shopping center parking lot the same day. The man was arrested about 2:30 p.m. Tuesday at TCU area shopping center. Swaim said the girl and her 18-year-old sister had been receiving obscene phone calls from the man for the last 2 years. Well, that's kind of interesting. The private detective said the girl's parents contacted him, and the man several days after the younger girl persuaded the caller to tell her his name and address. The private detective said the girl's parents contacted him and the man several days ago after the younger girl. Man, that's terrible writing. Swaim said he earlier had received several tips on the man. After the man agreed to meet with the teenager Tuesday, Swaim notified Fort Worth police and 2 detectives. Swaim and two of the employees then went to the shopping center to keep the 1 p.m. appointment When the man hadn't appeared by 2 p.m., the 2 detectives left and Swaim called the girl to find out if she had been contacted. Shortly afterwards, the suspect Hey, what's going on with that Tim R guy? Off topic? There's a connection to these 3 girls and their known location. Wait, what's going on? I'm at 1990. They are still researching the identity of El Dorado Jane Doe, murdered in 1998, and still don't know who he is. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm at 1991. And then he says, Zozo talking with someone in the room. Wow. Off topic. There is a connection to these 3 girls and their known location. I don't even know what that means. What known location? What are you talking about? Yeah, I know I got disconnected. Alright. I can see it on my screen. It tells me. I probably know. I know. It just automatically reconnects again for some reason. Anyways, there's this guy here. Swim said the man arrived before the detectives could return and was detained by him and his men until the officers arrived. The man was placed in city jail for investigating of harassment. Man, investigating? I forget it. I can't be on this one anymore. Files to divorce. Oh, yeah. So Thomas Albert Trlica, husband of one of 3 Fort Worth girls who disappeared in 1974 and have not been found, has filed... See, earlier I thought, well, maybe that's her dad, but now it turns out that that's actually was her husband. Trlica, now of Throckmorton, could not be reached Wednesday for comment. And this is 1976 now, so a year and a half later, he's got to move on, So she was 17 when she disappeared. Mrs. R.W. Cotton, Arnold's mother, Miss Trlica, said Trlica's plans to remarry in June. So, he met somebody else. I hope there's no way it can happen, Miss Arnold said. He can't get an annulment because she can't be there to sign it, and there's no proof of desertion or anything at all. Well, I mean, come on. Yeah. Let him move on with his life, all right? Miss Arnold said she has not spoken with Trlica for some time. Domestic Relations Court Judge Scott Moore said divorcing a missing marriage partner is legal. I presume he's filing it under abandonment, the judge said. I think it's possible to divorce someone who is missing. You'd need to prove that the person is gone and that there's no possible way of reconcile. Ms. Trlica, Julie Moseley, 9, and Renee Wilson were on a shopping trip to Seminary South Shopping Center when they disappeared. Yeah. All right, well, I'm halfway through that. Would it help out if I took a vacation for a little bit? Because I gotta get, like I say, when I do these shows, I got to justify spending the amount of time, and we're at like 2 hours and 26 minutes, and we're only at 60%. Many people called married at 17. I'm not even sure what that means. Many people called married? Maybe I should have just been covering all the other popular stuff. It might have helped. Like maybe if I was covering the Stampede or something. There we go. Look at Blue. He's all by himself. Poor guy. Yes. And this is the time if you'd like to help purchase some drinks for me or support the channel, that'd be great. The goal every night is to try to get around like 250 or so. You know, you'd think with 300 people or, you know, whatever watching, that'd be pretty easy. But right now, tonight, we're at 160, you know. So that's nowhere near a goal. I'm going to post law school on the 1st. All right, you going to law school, Richard? Sweet. You can help us all out. Poor Blue. Good night, Emily Flotilla. Oh, that's all right. Doom, 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 doom. Maybe it's the vacation location that nobody likes. All right, cookies for Blue and Miss Chloe. Well, hey Blue. Look at it, he's opening his little eye there. Do you see that? Here, what happens if I go right just down to his eye? Would it look weird if I made that big now? Blue, how's it going? Look at that. That's one big eyeball. All right, you guys. Maybe I'll just do part 2 tomorrow or something. Already 2.5 hours in. It's a pretty long one because they get longer and longer. They have big breakdowns and like full 2-page. I'm not sure what else they add to them, but we can always do that. But anyways. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to call it a night. What do we got here? I'm going to go ahead and thank you to... Yeah, thanks, Cheek Pitching. But yeah, we'll just do the second part tomorrow because it's going to take too long. You know, it's going to take too long to read it. Yeah, there's no... She shouldn't feel bad at all for getting a divorce, you know. Or he shouldn't feel bad, I mean. You know, she's been gone for 2 years. He's young. He needs to, you know, he wants to start living a life with somebody, not spending his whole life
hugging face,
looking
kiss
for somebody.
mark.
Yeah. All right. Thanks to Holly Evans and twice Holly Evans, Kimberly Hennessy, Dreaming Girl, Holly Evans again. So thank you very much, Holly Evans. And then we've got, let's see, Movie Star Memories, Zozo, Lee D, Holly Evans again. Man, think of that. Thanks, Holly. That would have been a crazy night without that. Kathy L, Living It, Amy's Justice League, Dreaming Girl, Eugenie, Dreaming Girl, and then Hater Nation News Network, Cheek, Pinch and Granny, Colin Pendleton, Swerves, Jessica Schubach, Colin Pendleton, Tawny Lee, Cindy Leon, Gloria Batari, Cheek, Pinch and Granny, Kimberly Hennessy, and Cheek, Pinch and Granny again. Anyways, yeah, I just, when I do these shows, I can't really justify doing it that many hours because I got these goals to do. So I'd rather just chill out, do something else, and maybe tomorrow will be a better day. You never know, right? So, all right, you guys. Let me show you how many files this thing had, by the way. See, right there. Let me move screens. You can't see. Yeah, so we just did this one right there. And then these all get longer. One of them, they were so long that I had to get the actual link to the newspapers.com because when you save out something that large, it blurs it out. It's right there, see that? And yeah, there's some weird stuff. I mean, I'm kind of wondering if whoever did something to them may be related to some of these other cases there. There's a whole bunch of cases in the area. I don't know, I just do the show whenever I do the show, 6, 7, something like that. No idea. No, I don't start at a specific time, Zozo. I just do shows, Tonight was 6:45, maybe another night will be 5:30, something like that. No, it's okay, Rita, but I'd like to save content for another show if it's just kind of a dead night like that. You get what I'm saying? Like I could sit here and spend another hour going through those with you guys, but can't do it. All right, you guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And, as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And also, thanks for anybody who joined tonight. Appreciate it. All right, see you guys later. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, tech rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a sketch ya if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Regal's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you later. Yeah. Oh man, Mary Lou, always a card. Yes, and thank you to Laura Stewart on PayPal there. Thank you very much. All right, you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow's a better day because we got to keep on trucking. Bye-bye.